The Mets eliminated from the playoffs Saturday night after they had a lead, earlier in the season. Why did it all fall apart for New York?
Well, it's a great question, Chris, and it's a multifaceted answer. We found out really they just weren't good enough. You saw it, seeing it down the stretch here. It's getting kind of embarrassing that they can't. They're going out this way, losing just about every night here. But it really starts for me with the offense. They didn't hit all year. So many guys underproduced. Seeing Lindor here, he was number one guy who was supposed to lead this team to a different level offensively. He was bad, and then the pitching held them up the first half. Then they lost to DeGrom, and I thought they lost a lot of their identity because DeGrom was such a big guy for them. They knew they could count on him every fifth day. He went down, and then they found out they didn't have enough starting pitching depth, and the starting pitching started to fall apart down the stretch. And you throw in the bullpen, that kind of crashed late too. So all facets of this team kind of fell apart, especially down the stretch in the second half. And it's going to give this front office, whoever's going to make these decisions, going to probably be a new president of baseball operations. It's going to give that person, this new front office, a lot to think about. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a very busy offseason for Mets management. And speaking about that, some juicy names, including Michael Conforto, may or may not be back in 2022. How do you expect things to play out with him?
Yeah, I wrote a column about that. Listen, let me say up front, I'm a big Conforto fan. I really like the way he goes about his business. And, everybody's loved him since he came up as far as his potential. But he's a classy kid he's a classy guy off the field as well. But to me, I think if the Mets are going to change this offense, there aren't that many places they can do it because they're locked in a lot of positions. And I just don't think Conforto's ever going to get to that superstar level we all thought he might get to at some point. He's too inconsistent, too streaky. So I would move on from him and go about looking to bring in a free agent, whether it's a Chris Bryant or a Castellanos, who's got an opt-out from Cincinnati. Or if you want to do it differently, Starling Marte, put him in center field. He stole 43 bases this year. He would give this team a different element in terms of speed, and then you can move Nimmo to a corner. I think they got to take some chances with this offense. If you're just going to go into next year thinking that these guys are all going to have bounce back years, I think you're making a big mistake. So as hard as it would be for me, because I like the guy so much, I would have to move on from Conforto, and I would start there and then find a way to bring Baez back as well as one of these new big sluggers in that lineup, and I think that could make a difference.
All right, quickly, what about Noah Syndergaard? What do you see in his future in staying in Queens or maybe leaving possibly?
Yeah, that's a tough call. I mean, he hasn't pitched in 2 years now. Maybe we're going to see him this final week, but really not going to be enough to know anything. Coming back from Tommy John, I think the Mets will it's a one-year deal. It's a lot of money if they offer him a qualifying offer. It's going to be $19-20 million. But for 1 year, I think you maybe take the chance. Some of that depends what they do with Stroman, though. But they're going to need pitching, and they don't have a lot coming in their system, so they're going to have to spend money to keep it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be such an interesting offseason that will dictate, how they do next year, and hopefully they can get that next step, take that next step, I should say, and make the playoffs. John Harper, always a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Chris.